In fact, the first one I think we're going to start with is Mark. And this one's in Millbank, South Dakota. So Mark, why don't you come on up? Mark Griswold. And you guys want, this is opportunity number 2. And there's 2 pages, because Mark submitted a little bit more than the average person did. So he did a good job on his presentation, so I'm going to, I don't want that, I'm going to actually put it up on the screen too so that everyone else can see it. Mark, do you have, you got your sheets right there?
You bet.
Okay, so how this is going to work is I'm going to put up as much info as I can on the screen for everyone. And then Mark's going to present his opportunity to the Sharks. And then they're going to ask them questions and grill them, and they may or may not be interested. And so like I said, this is the first time we've ever done it. I don't know exactly how it's all going to go. There may be some really fun times, some really hard times, answering some questions you may not be prepared for. But I want this to be educational for everybody, because these are the questions that real buyers are asking on real deals. So for you guys who are beginners and have never had to go through this, take this seriously as a learning and educational experience. And maybe we can get a couple deals done tonight. I think that would be awesome. So let me get this switched over and get this one up on the screen. And I had another handheld here. Okay, so I'm going to give the stage to Mark. And why don't you tell us what you have and what you're looking for, Mark? Can you turn that down, Kevin?
I've got a 24-unit building. It has 8 one-bedrooms, 16 two-bedrooms, 22 garages. 19 out of the 24 have been rehabbed, painted, carpeted, baths, appliances. It's 2 buildings, sits on 6-acre lot in the south part of Millbank. I'm asking $725. Price per unit's $30,208. Let's see what else we got. Garden. It's garden low rise. It's nothing over 4 stories there. I have a 12% cap rate on it. It's 100% occupied. And let's see, what else can I tell you? What would you like to know? Yearly income is $141,235. That includes the garages and coin op.
Are these expenses actual or just, what you expect them to be?
Actual.
Actual. Do you own this building?
Yes.
Okay. And you've seen these kind of returns for yourself, actually?
Yes.
That's good.
Hey Mike, can you put this second page up on the screen too? Because that's where all the...
That's where all the information is. Do you have a property management company managing it, and that's where that management fee comes from?
Management fees for a local woman that manages it for me.
Okay. How hands-on are you in this building?
Once a month.
Once a month? Or you go out and do a walkthrough?
Always.
Where is Millbank, South Dakota?
12 miles west of Ortonville, Minnesota. And Ortonville is in the
So
middle
it's
of
right
the
on the
state.
border of 12, isn't it? It's
Yes.
right on 12.
I used to live on 12. So.
Yeah, it's just past Miller. Do you have any problem renting these units?
None.
None?
Everything is on a month-to-month there. I'm the only one in town who rents month-to-month.
Okay.
What's the structure like? Is it flat roof?
It's flat roof.
Flat roof, okay. How old is it? How old
Building?
is the building? I might have missed that, I'm sorry.
1973.
Okay. What about the roof and some of the other components?
Roof, I have never had any problems with it. I've had the building 4 years. Components such as, has 6
No,
new hot water heaters,
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
4 new dryers, 4 new washers, and like I said, 19 out of the 24 units have been rehabbed.
Yeah, just looking at it. How long have you owned it?
4 years, 4 years November.
And you manage it
I have a lady out there that manages it.
for $5,000 a year?
$425 a month she gets.
Really?
Yeah. Is that too much?
No. Yeah. She come to Oklahoma.
She's a local, and I didn't take the building until I had a local that, and then I spent 2 years training her.
She's not a tenant in one of the units or anything like that.
She is now, she left her husband. But,
You got her now. I mean, she's stuck, right?
no.
So is she getting free rent for that, or is she?
No, she pays rent.
Discounted?
No.
How did you arrive at your selling price?
I looked at the 12% cap rate. That's all I was looking for, was a
So you
12.
did backward by 12% cap.
Excuse me?
So you figured you'd put it on a 12 cap and
Right.
offer it.
Right.
So what made you decide on a 12 cap? I mean, nothing locally here can be bought on a 12 cap unless it's in North Minneapolis.
Well, because the investors that I've seen, that's all they talk about. I want 12% cap. I want a 10% cap.
All right. Buildings built in '73. Have you run into any? Have you done any environmental looking? Have you run into any asbestos and floor tiles, anything like that on the site? Ceiling tiles, any of that kind of stuff?
No.
Have you ever looked for it?
No.
And nobody's ever done an assessment.
No.
Okay. Have you had to do any evictions up there?
You bet. When I took the building over, I cleaned house.
Out of curiosity, what's the process in South Dakota versus here?
About 3 days. 7 days they go to court.
So
The
3
landlord,
days, so
3 days.
So you file and then you're in court in 3 days?
I post a note on the front door. You have 3 days to vacate. They fail to vacate, I go over and get the sheriff. The sheriff comes back, gives them 7 days.
I'm liking it more.
That's amazing.
So is this like Barney sitting at the sheriff's office just waiting for you to come, or I don't know how big is Millbank, I have no idea.
Millbank has 3,500 people.
Okay.
Has Valley Queen, which is it's a big cheese company, which they're enlarging. They have a large hardware distribution center there,
United?
United.
Yeah, I was at the summer meeting when you were talking about
Okay,
this.
yeah.
Hey, Mark, is this your first multi-unit to own?
No, I've had others.
How did you come to buy this one?
That's what my wife asked. My wife had relatives in Millbank. We went there, I liked the town, it was clean. The guy that owned the building was losing everything he had, and I bought it from the bank.
On a note?
No, well, yeah.
Is the note assumable?
It possibly could be, but I haven't approached a bank about it.
What do you owe?
320.
Quit stealing my questions, Scott.
So am I correct that your average monthly rental rate is about $490? Or what are the ranges for rents?
No. The basement units are at 5. I'd have to look that up. And, yeah,
They range.
They range from 500 to, on the low end?
yeah, up to 825 for some of the power plant workers, because they want cable and they want somebody to pay the electric.
Okay, you just made me think of a follow-up question. What's included in the rent? It sounds like it varies.
Some of the apartments pay just $600 a month, $550 to $600 for a 2-bedroom, and then they pay the electric. Water's included in the building.
You have electric on here as one of your expenses. Is that for the,
The entire building's electric.
okay. So it's for the water heaters and all that extra
Yep,
stuff?
6 brand new water heaters also.
Okay.
Do you have any comps to support the value of just 12 cap is it? You didn't run?
No, ran no comps.
I mean, there's not that many people in town, right?
Well, there's quite a few buildings. The guy lost quite a few buildings,
What'd you say the population is?
3,500. And a lot of people coming off I have some older people that are coming off the farm that live there.
So this isn't just an oil thing?
No, not in Millbank.
Okay.
It's all It's all farmers.
So what are your average one-bedroom rents? Just
$450.
so 450. The thing I want to point out is, and you don't have central heat. Everybody pays their own heat.
Correct.
Which, plus and minus, I think, up here I think, oh, we should have central heat. But if you're not having to pay any heat, that's damn good. One thing I want to point out, you can't find anything locally for a 12 cap. If somebody's looking to get started. To get a 12 cap, you got to go out of town a ways. Your expenses, a bunch of us in the room were in that apartment mentor seminar a week and a half ago. And this kind of fits the criteria of what he says to look for, but your expenses actually look pretty low to me, especially management, when you got somebody doing it that cheap. And every time somebody lives in one of my units who works for me, it's never ended well yet. So, neither here nor there. But the other thing to point out is average rents here for cheap 2 bedrooms. My 1 bedrooms are maybe $650-ish. 2 bedrooms, $750, $850, depending where they are. You're getting 3/4 of that, or better, on a far better cap rate than here. So for the right person, if they want to schlep to Millbank, this building looks like it's a moneymaker. That's what I think, that's what you're asking. Next question is borrowing money in South Dakota. I don't know any local banks that do it. Do you have anything lined up over that way?
Well, where I borrowed my money from First Commercial, which is First Bank and Trust, which is over there,
Okay.
local town.
And they were stuck with the complex. They repoed it,
Yeah,
and they
that's
financed you to sell it in order to get rid of it.
They financed me because that was the only way I'd buy it, yes.
Great way to do it. They already had the money, they already had the deal. Right. Who else?
How much term is left on that? Long?
2 years, it was a 5-year deal.
So you put how much equity in it?
I put $50,000 down and then I've done the rehab to it.
How much left to rehab the remaining 5 units? You mentioned that.
On the microphone, please.
Sorry. You mentioned that 19 of the 24 in here have been rehabbed essentially, leaving 5. So what would you estimate the rehab expense on those 5?
About $3,000.
Oh,
That's carpeting, that's paint, that's new linoleum, and that's going in and putting surrounds in the bathroom and appliances.
$3,000
Okay.
per unit though.
Yeah.
What's the debt service on this currently?
$22.17 a month.
2217.
the cash flow is amazing.
Yeah.
That's the good news. What's your motivation to sell?
Florida.
That's motivating.
You asked me. When I took that building over, I worked that building. I had to learn a different way of life because they didn't see the way I saw it. Like I said, I'm the only one that runs month to month over there. The rest of the landlords are determined to have it on a yearly. You have no control.
And you're always full.
And I'm always full. As soon as somebody leaves, somebody else wants to move in. And usually everybody stays on the average of a year to 2 years. But I've got people there that have been with me since I took over the building.
So you said there were a lot of other buildings that were foreclosed on by the same bank. What's the status of those?
Some of the,
They vacant or are they
no, some of the local
investors?
investors, you call them that, took them.
Farmers, probably.
Well, yes,
Are all those other buildings in the same town?
yes.
Okay. So you don't have like the only apartment building in a town of 3,500?
I'm the only one that's south of town.
Okay.
So I'm sitting on 6 acres, everybody else sitting in the middle of town, and I sit right across the street from a park.
That's nice. So it says you want to cash out, but you're open to ideas. One of the things that is a good tool for us as investors is to do a seller second. Would you consider that?
I look at everything.
Okay. So we can submit to you an offer with some kind of a structure like that, and you'd be open to it.
I'm open to everything. You have to be.
You guys have any more questions?
I just since this is Shark Tank and they can be pretty brutal on the real show, I
Okay,
feel
now you
like,
wanna beat me up?
no, I feel like, I don't want to be Mr. Wonderful up here, but if anybody's watched the show, you know what I'm talking about. First of all, I have more hair than he does. But a couple things, when I'm looking at something like this, I don't normally do rentals. I do new construction, flips, stuff like that. So for some, more of a novice for me, it sounds like David and the Lisa and Scott up here probably have more experience with it. But when I'm looking at this, I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, on this 2 pages, where's my monthly cash flow? And frankly, Lisa had to show it to me on her calculator. So when I'm presenting this deal or any deal to somebody, that would be the first thing that I would want to look at is, you know, I could do my own calculations, but it'd be nice to just see, okay, I got a net income of $83,000 per year, but what is my monthly cash flow based off of the current debt service that you have? Because if we could assume it in this small of a town, that's good information to know, I would think.
Okay.
What else? Oh, you know, before I would buy anything, I'd want to see what it actually looks like in the condition of the roof and some of the major components of it. So
Always.
yeah. So just like in the real Shark Tank, I think they make every deal contingent upon due diligence and stuff like that. But having said all that, because I'm not a specialist in this area, even though the cap rate, I have to admit, just like David said, is very attractive, so is the monthly cash flow. I have to say, I'm out.
Well, there's some things about it I like. I think, you know, my sister lived in Aberdeen. I've traveled up that way a lot. It's a right-to-work state. People work a lot cheaper there than here. So I think some of your expenses look pretty low compared to what we're used to. But the building definitely deserves a closer look if somebody's interested in buying a decent building, which is what you say it is, and they're willing to drive 3 or 4 hours each way to deal with it. You're not going to get that cap rate around here. You're making about $7,000 a month. I think you can, I have to hit a calculator in order to figure out what that debt can service, but I think it can service enough to probably buy that building and do a carryback. So there's some things about it I'd like enough to say it's worth. I don't want to invest that far away, but if I did, or if I was a pilot, could fly around. A couple guys I've met here, Rick Lay hasn't been here in a while, but he flies. If you had your own plane, you could fly up there. It'd be kind of a cool trip, you know, to run up there and do it, but it's a long drive. At any rate, but $7,000 a month cash flow, that's enough to pay off a lot of debt. So the building works for the right person. I'd obviously want to put a letter of intent together and then really make sure the expenses and the condition warrant further consideration from there. So I think it's worth doing due diligence on.
Okay, so I hear one thing. You say that my cap rate is a little high.
No, your cap rate's good. The higher the better for a buyer.
I understand that. But around the cities here, you're saying they're talking 10%?
Oh, hell, you can't get much here for 10%.
Okay, so then am I hearing you say I'm too cheap?
No, when I'm
Just
saying,
asking.
What I'm saying, Mark, yeah, you're probably too cheap, but you're probably too expensive, actually. What I'm saying is to get these kinds of cap rates, you can't get them in town. So if somebody wants a building like this is a good building for somebody who wants to hit the ground running, which you probably did, come up with something good, a hell of a tax break, and you're going to have to drive or travel a ways to get something like this. You're not going to find it anywhere near our twin cities. You're going to be an hour, 2 hours away or more. You're going to be somewhere in a B or a C-size market, and that's what you've got out there. Obviously, it would take some study and some due diligence, but on the surface, it looks like a solid investment.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're, I got confused there for a second too, cap rate sometime.
Cap rate's inverse.
Yeah, you're too low, definitely. Just
Okay,
because of
well-
all those reasons and the it being so far away, and even if someone was there, I don't know. But being the shark I am, since nobody else is offering, how about I give you the 50 grand you put down, take over the 320, and I'll satisfy the bank that I can do that, plus 100 grand when I get cashed out.
No, but thank you. It was a good try.
It's my deal. I'm from Oklahoma. I have no clue where Millbank's out there.
And neither did I.
I would consider I'd consider putting together an offer after I am able to see the financials. So some due diligence, I'd write a letter of intent for sure.
Okay,
You know, we could talk about price. Do I have to have the price up here? Do I have to like throw my offer out there right now?
Yes.
I want to run it through my software, for goodness sake. I want to make sure that I have all my numbers. Yeah, I would like to assume the financing also, and I'd like to do some kind of a seller carryback for the down payment that I would have to make, but then I would also bring cash to the table. So price, I don't know yet.
that's fine. You have my number.
I have your number. Yeah, I would definitely like to talk to you about it, though. I think that this is actually a very good deal, and I am willing to drive a couple hours to go look at it once a month if that's all you really have to do.
It's 4,
4 hours?
one way,
Is it really that far?
a lot of thinking time.
My husband lived in Aberdeen for 4 months, so I spent a lot of time driving right through Millbank. I actually got a couple of speeding tickets in Millbank, so I'm kind of jaded on the town, but maybe it'll make me some money so I can pay my tickets back. But yeah, so I would like to talk to you more about it, for sure.
Fine. Okay.
All right, so it looks like you got another follow-up?
I would just say I'm not interested just because of the distance and too small a market for me. Looks like it's good for the right person, I'm not the right person.
Okay, well, that's okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.